Part 81. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 801. Chapter 801. Geniuses also need to fall in love. Chu Sensio's words came to his lips, but he suppressed them again, because inexplicably, Chu Sensio's expression when he watched his elder brother leaning down to lecture Tanguo was as gentle as catkins. Seeing Chu Sensio, an old man, felt strange. I have to say, this scene is inexplicably warm. However, Chu Sensio suddenly realized a problem the next second. Since when did his brother become such a good gentleman who was willing to help others with their homework? You must know that when Chu Sensio was a child, he was too playful and did not study, so when he asked Chu Shengming to teach him how to do homework, this guy was like a millionaire. He looked down on the questions given by the school and also disliked Chu Sensio. You look like a if you can't solve this kind of question. Later, Chu Sensio fell in love with mathematical Olympiad when he was in high school. Sometimes when he encountered a tricky question and couldn't figure it out, he would run over and ask Chu Shengming. Chu Shengming said to him with a cold face, "This kind of stupid question is a waste of my time." Chu Sensio, excuse me. Isn't the high-level mathematics question Tanguo is doing now more intelligent than the questions Chu Sensio asked before? Don't waste his time now. The more Chu Sensio thought about it, the angrier he became. Except when he looked in the mirror, he often doubted that he was not his biological brother. Is there anyone who treats his own brother like this? After Chu Shengming finished explaining the topic, he finally looked at Chu Sensio, who had been staring at him for a long time with a face full of sadness and anger. Chu Sensio sent a text message to Chu Shengming because of Tanguo's presence. "Brother, do you want to treat me differently? Haven't you always disliked the retarded questions in textbooks? I am willing to help others." Chu Shengming responded to him with what Chu Sensio had just said. Chu Sensio was so angry that he vomited blood. "So why didn't you help him before? You redone, brother, do you know how you feel now?" Chu Shengming was confused as he looked at the text message Chu Sensio sent him. What does it mean? Chu Shengming looked at Chu Sensio, who still looked angry. "I feel that the textbook topics are still very retarded." "Wrong, brother, you are feeling excited." Chu Shengming's face darkened when he saw the content of the text message. Chu Sensio then sent the next message, "Brother, I'm afraid you have fallen in love with Tanguo. Otherwise, why would he break his taboo for Tanguo?" Chu Sensio was not stupid, he could see it. His brother said he came here to look for books, but during that half day, he didn't have a book in his hands at all. Who was he kidding? He just wanted to come over and help Tanguo with the questions. This difference in treatment is really terrible. A genius with a high IQ who has never taught his own brother how to do questions, racked his brains to teach his future wife a question that he had always thought was weak and a waste of time. This, I'm afraid, is true love. While Chu Sensio was still thinking about something, Chu Shengming had already sent a text message. "I feel like I want to punch you now." Chu Sensio raised his head in panic, faced Chu Shengming's indifferent face, and swallowed silently. Chu Sensio quickly lowered his head and edited the text message, "Brother, it's okay to admit it boldly. Geniuses also need to fall in love. I am just passing by, and besides, I really don't like to waste time on tutoring such young subjects." Chu Shengming said, preparing to leave. However, as soon as Chu Shengming turned around, Tanguo turned to look at him. "Well, Chu Shengming, can you teach me this question?" Chu Shengming paused, and Chu Sensio looked at Chu Shengming with gloating. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 802. Chapter 802. I don't like stupid girls. Chu Shengming thought in his heart that he had to refuse righteously. At the very least, he couldn't be slapped in the face so quickly. Especially when Chu Sensio was smiling so loudly, he couldn't let him succeed. However, the moment Chu Shengming turned around and met Tanguo's clear and dazzling star eyes, his heart softened inexplicably. Chu Sensio coughed a few times, then stood up and said loudly to himself, "Suddenly I heard something snapping. I'll go out and take a look." Chu Shenming's face was covered with black lines. Chu Sensio left the study with a smirk on his face. "It's not easy. It's not easy. It's really not easy." He could still see his brother's old iron tree blooming in his lifetime. It was truly a rarer thing than seeing a meteor shower. However, just when Chu Sensio was holding back a belly of gossip and was about to go out to find someone to share it with, he suddenly found that the living room was empty. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng disappeared, and 11 Ju didn't know where they went. So, he is a lonely old man now? Chu Sensio took a minute to recognize this reality, then accepted it calmly, and started watching TV for his own entertainment. Not long after, Chu Shengming came over. Chu Sensio looked at Chu Shengming. Chu Shengming's face was very ugly, as if he was going to rush over and beat him in the next second. Chu Sensio moved back subconsciously, as if he was ready to escape. "Brother, why did you come out so fast? There are many questions that little Candy can't do." Chu Sensio laughed evilly. Chu Shengming said that this was not the first time he wanted to beat Chu Sensio. This guy is either being beaten or on the way to being beaten. Chu Shengming has been used to this state since he was a child. "I'm afraid you'll talk nonsense when you open your mouth." Chu Shengming said coldly. "Ha, who do you think I am? Am I such a nosy person?" Chu Shengming glanced around the empty surroundings. He knew best what kind of person Chu Sensio was. If it weren't for the absence of a few of them, Chu Sensio would have used a small loudspeaker to publicize and exaggerate. "You'd better stop talking nonsense," Chu Shengming said righteously. "Oh, I know, brother, I know how to measure." Chu Sensio smiled and teased, "Hey, but, brother, when did you like the little Candy?" Chu Shengming's face darkened, and he retorted Chu Sensio with a few words from between his teeth, "I don't like her, I don't like stupid girls, do you understand?" Chu Sensio said, "Although little Candy is clumsy, she is very cute." At this time, Tanguo was carrying her school bag and preparing to go home. When she walked to the corner of the living room, she heard all this. Chu Shengming had just tutored her on a question, which originally made Tanguo feel a little bit happy, but she didn't expect that she heard such a conversation just a few steps away. Chu Shengming disliked her for being stupid and said that he didn't like stupid girls. Tanguo felt that her nose was a bit sore, but she still managed not to have red eyes, and stubbornly forced out a smile, thinking that she would also smile brightly when she left later. "Ms. Tang, what's wrong with you?" The maid on the side saw Tanguo standing there without making any movement, and her face didn't seem to look good, so she asked a question. This question happened to fall on Chu Shenming's ears, and Chu Shenming's face suddenly changed. "Tanguo is here, so didn't she hear what he just said?" Add more updates if your monthly ticket is over 185 today. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 803. Chapter 803 Fan Comics of Jun Chennai and Qian Yins. "I'm fine." Tanguo forced out a smile and said to the servant who asked him concernedly. Tanguo then walked towards Chu Shengming and Chu Sensio, with a sweet smile on her face, and said to them, "I'm going back first. See you next time." Chu Sensio frowned, glanced at Chu Shengming, and then said to Tanguo, "Little Candy, are you leaving so early? Do you want me to see you off?" "No, thank you, the driver is already waiting for me." As Tanguo said this, he waved to them and walked straight towards the door. Not long after Tanguo left, Chu Shenxiu sighed, deliberately dragging out the last note so that Chu Shenming could hear it. Oh, someone just said such unpleasant things, I wonder what little Candy is thinking. As Chu Shenxiu spoke, he looked at Chu Shenming with the tips of his eyes. Chu Shenming said nothing, ignored Chu Shenxiu, and turned around and left the living room. Chu Shenxiu was stunned. Seeing that his brother had left like this, he spread his hands to express his helplessness. After Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng arrived at Annie's comic shop, they habitually went to the front desk to say hello to Su Annie. Su Annie immediately smiled when she saw Xia Ying. Hey, Xia Ying, you haven't been here for a long time. Yes, Sister N, I've been very busy recently. Xia Ying said, looking at Su Annie as if she was asking for comfort. Su Annie is a close big sister to Xia Ying, so in front of her, Xia Ying can act like a child without restraint. Su Annie always pampers her like a biological sister. Yeah, I know. Su Annie smiled, stretched out her hand and touched the bridge of Xia Ying's nose. That Jianyin's in your company has become very popular recently. Our boss Xia has been very good at it lately. Jianyin's became a hit with a song, and with his flawless appearance, he immediately became the most popular new star at present. The popularity on Weibo has been #1 for several weeks in a row. Whatever you do can be immediately trending. It can be called a replica of Jun Chennai back then. Haha, Sister Annie, do you also pay attention to these entertainment news? Xia Ying said with a smile. Now all the girls who come to the store are talking about Jianyin's. It's hard for me not to know, Su Annie continued. Now Jianyin's fan comics have come out, and they are selling very well. The sales volume is second only to Jun Chen. Yi's fan comics, oh, there are also Fujoshi benefits and the like, drawing the two of them together. After hearing this, Xia Ying showed an evil smile and subconsciously glanced at Yu Lingfeng, who was looking around. When Yu Lingfeng wasn't paying attention, she approached Su Annie and asked in a low voice, is there such a comic? Can you find one for me? Su Annie was stunned for a moment. When she realized that Xia Ying was a senior rot girl, she immediately had an epiphany and covered her mouth with laughter. Does that person in your family mind? Su Annie pointed at Yu Lingfeng behind Xia Ying. Su Annie is also someone who likes to read entertainment news. Xia Ying had an affair with Jun Chennai before, and Xia Ying also mentioned to her that Yu Lingfeng is a straight man and has no way of imagining the world of Tenmei. Xia Ying made a silent gesture, shh. Su Annie understood instantly and winked at Xia Ying. Okay, I'll find you some books right away. Xia Ying showed a bad smile. Xia Ying came to her small box as usual. Yu Lingfeng didn't read comics, so he brought a book to read. Xia Ying sat opposite Yu Lingfeng and looked at Yu Lingfeng with his eyes lowered as he read a book seriously. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 804. Chapter 804. Teacher Xia Ying. Yu Lingfeng was sitting by the window. The soft light filtered by the screen window fell on Yu Lingfeng's long eyelashes, and there was also a very beautiful light and shadow in the shadow of her nose. Xia Ying stared at Yu Lingfeng's sculpture-like face for a long time. Yu Lingfeng raised his eyes and met Xia Ying's gaze. What's wrong? Xia Ying was stunned by Yu Lingfeng, and her thoughts were interrupted. Ah, it's okay, I just thought you looked good, so I took a second look at you. A soft light flashed in Yu Lingfeng's eyes, and he let out a low chuckle in his nose. He didn't say anything more, and then focused on the book in his hand. Suan is looking for books for Xia Ying. Xia Ying has nothing to do now, so she sits quietly on the sofa and listens to the gentle music in the comic shop. Has it been too long since she came? How could she remember that there was no music in comic shops before? Xia Ying stood up and walked to the door of the box. She looked around the comic store hall for a long time in search of the sound of music, and finally saw the figure quietly playing the piano in an inconspicuous corner. He is a boy, wearing a simple white t-shirt, blue jeans that have been washed a little white, and a pair of popular Nike sneakers on his feet. He looks very sporty and casual, but the way he sits in front of the piano and plays quietly is as noble as a sparkling prince. Xia Ying pricked her ears and listened quietly to the music played by the boy. Xia Ying had never heard this piece of music before, but it sounded surprisingly good. It was a very soothing and simple piece of music. There are no ups and downs or emotional changes. It is just a very bland piece of music that is suitable for listening to in this environment. This feeling is like you are sitting in a small pavilion in a quiet and undisturbed mountain, listening to the spring water flowing slowly beside you, and the birds calling to friends on the branches. Occasionally, there will be a fallen flower slides onto your shoulder. Xia Ying was completely intoxicated. Unknowingly, she had walked up to the young man. The young man felt someone approaching, but he still played calmly without any interference from the outside world. Xia Ying lowered her head and looked at the young man. The boy is young, probably in his early 20s. He is not very stunning and handsome. Instead, he wears glasses with thick lenses and has dots of freckles on his feet. He looks very ordinary, the kind of person who doesn't leave a deep impression on others no matter how many times he passes by him in the crowd. Despite this, his music still shocks Xia Ying. When the young man finished playing a piece of music and was about to take a drink of water to continue, Xia Ying took the opportunity to ask, "I'm sorry, could I ask, did you write the piece of music you just made yourself?" The young man raised his head, puffed out his cheeks, swallowed the water in his mouth, and stared at Xia Ying, who was wearing a mask but couldn't hide her clear and lively eyes for a long time. Slowly, the young man's face showed a look of surprise and excitement. Teacher Xia Ying." Xia Ying was frightened by the incomprehensible phrase Teacher Xia Ying. Although she was well known in the music industry, this was the first time she was called teacher. "Just call me Xia Ying." Xia Ying smiled awkwardly. "How did you recognize me?" The young man stood up and looked around in a panic, thinking that Xia Ying was a celebrity. He couldn't act too deliberately and let everyone recognize him. He didn't want to cause trouble to Xia Ying. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 805. Chapter 805 Forest in the Afternoon. That, I'm your fan." When the young man said this, his pupils were full of sincerity. Because he saw his idol for the first time, the young man seemed a little at a loss. He kept scratching his head in embarrassment and looked extremely nervous. Xia Ying smiled when she heard what he said. "Thank you, I really like the song you just played. Did you write it yourself?" When the young man heard Xia Ying say that he liked his music, he was so excited that he almost bit his tongue when he spoke. He nodded very seriously, "Yes, yes. What is your name?" "Forest in the Afternoon," the boy continued. "This is actually a song, and what I just played is its tune." Xia Ying's eyes lit up. "Oh? Did you write the song yourself?" The young man continued to nod, with a little pride showing in his eyes at this time. The kind of pride that comes from being recognized by your favorite idol. "Then, can you play and sing for me next time?" Xia Ying said as she lowered her head to find paper and pen, but suddenly she remembered that her bag was left in the box. Xia Ying said to the boy, "Wait for me." After Xia Ying finished speaking, she turned around and quickly went to the box. When Xia Ying went to the private room, Yu Lingfeng was still reading, and Xia Ying's comics were already on her table. Yu Lingfeng saw Xia Ying's panic and stared at her in confusion. "What's wrong?" "I found the treasure," Xia Ying said excitedly, so excited that her hands shaking slightly when looking for paper and pen. "What treasure?" Yu Lingfeng became more and more puzzled. "No time to explain," Xia Ying said, turned around and went out with a pen and paper. Yu Lingfeng was curious, so he put down his book and followed Xia Ying out. Yu Lingfeng saw Xia Ying running up to a boy, lowering her head and writing something, and talking to him. "This is my phone number and company address. I like your music very much and I am also very interested in your songs. Please come to our company sometime. I really want to sign you." Xia Ying he expressed his thoughts straight to the point, and then handed the young man a business card. "This is my business card. Just take it and come to the company to find me." The young man looked at Xia Ying's smiling face, his lips trembling, his eyes moving, and he didn't say anything for a long time. When he took the business card, his hands were trembling, as if he was dreaming. Not at all. Dare to believe this is the truth. He was actually spotted by Xia Ying. Xia Ying also said that she liked her music very much and wanted to sign a contract with him. This was something he had never dared to think about before. What's wrong? Xia Ying saw that the circles under the young man's eyes were gradually turning red, so she asked softly. I'm so excited." The young man held back the tears in his eyes and continued, "I have been doing music for many years, and I have always liked music, but I have never been recognized. This is my first time, the first time. I almost gave up. The young man choked and lowered his head. Xia Ying patted his shoulder and comforted him. "You are great. Believe in yourself and never give up." "Thanks. By the way, I haven't asked your name yet." "Oh, my name is Liang Ye." The young man raised his head and said his name seriously. Xia Ying's smile immediately dimmed, replaced by a look of shock. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 806. Chapter 806. The future singing superstar Liang Ye. Liang Ye, this name is about to shock the entire music world in the future. Xia Ying remembered that the most miserable days in her previous life were spent listening to Liang Ye singing. Liang Ye is an online singer and the most outstanding representative among online singers. When it comes to online singers, Liang Ye will definitely come to mind. Liang Ye's talent is very outstanding. He writes lyrics, composes and sings all the songs by himself. He is a rare singer-songwriter, but in his previous life, Liang Ye never showed up and just sang quietly behind the internet. Everyone only knows his voice, not his person. Later, even though he became so popular, he did not reveal his true face. Xia Ying looked at the young man in front of her. He was indeed not a good-looking person. His facial features are very ordinary, which is made worse by his thick spectacles. Moreover, he is not very tall, about 1,72 meters tall. Probably, in today's face-valued world, Liang Ye feels inferior to his appearance. So even though I had so many fans in my previous life, I still didn't have the courage to show my true face. For him, liking his music is enough, and this is his greatest compliment and consolation. Liang Ye couldn't understand Xia Ying's expression at the moment, so he asked cautiously, "What's wrong with you?" Xia Ying finally reacted, "It's okay, I will wait for you to come over. Please don't give up on your music dream." Liang Ye nodded firmly. "Then I won't bother you," Xia Ying said and left. Liang Ye then started playing the piano. At this moment, even though he had been playing the piano all morning, he was not tired at all. Because what I have worked hard for so long has finally been affirmed. Liang Ye dropped out of school at the age of 15 because of his poor family, left his hometown, and came to the imperial capital alone to pursue his dream. Liang Ye learned the piano from the teacher in school, who was also the only music teacher and piano in the entire village. The music teacher came to teach. She cherished her piano very much, but after seeing the talent of the child Liang Ye, she resolutely decided to teach him to play the piano. When leaving her hometown, she also told Liangye that he was talented and he would definitely succeed. Liangye is also full of confidence. However, the young man who came from a small mountain village did not understand the hardships of life in a big city. He had been praised for growing up. Everyone said that he sang well and that he would definitely be successful, but life taught him a lesson. Cold-blooded lessons. He was rejected by many music companies because he was not good-looking enough. He participated in various singing competitions, but most of them couldn't even enter the auditions because he wasn't good-looking enough and wore very rough clothes. Even if he was lucky enough to enter the competition, he still lost due to various insider information and scripts. Later, the frustrated Liangye had no choice but to sing in various bars to earn some meager living expenses. Now, he plays the piano in a comic shop and barely makes ends meet. Liangye thought that if it didn't work out, he would give up music and do something else. Even if it was to work hard, he could make more money than he did now. Moreover, he doesn't have to be so bitter anymore. But at this juncture, he met Xia Ying, a bull. Tell him yes, tell him not to give up, tell him she wants to sign him. Xia Ying was only 16 or 7 years old when she became popular in the music scene. When Liangye saw this little girl, he thought she was as beautiful as an angel. At that time, Liangye gave up on himself and thought, as expected, only people with good background and good looks will succeed. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 807. Chapter 807. The domineering male falls in love with me. However, when Liangye heard Xia Ying's music, he was really shocked. Her music is more charming than her person, it is simply the sound of nature. At that moment, Liangye was completely conquered by this girl. For Liangye, Xia Ying is a person who was born on the finish line, a daughter of a wealthy family, extremely beautiful. What does she want? But such a person was still working hard for her dream, and she was only 16 years old at the time. Liangye felt a little ashamed, so from that moment on, Xia Ying was the goal of his efforts. It was only the subsequent blows that made his already fragile heart vulnerable. Especially Qian Yin's, who has become famous on the internet with his face without any works some time ago, made Liangye completely understand this society. Without outstanding external conditions, everything else is nonsense. People who make music, singers, and celebrities will never look like him. Yu Lingfeng had been watching the exchange between Xia Ying and Liangye from one side. When Xia Ying walked towards him, Yu Lingfeng saw that Xia Ying's face was full of joy. What's wrong, so happy? Yu Lingfeng reached out and stroked Xia Ying's messy hair. Yu Lingfeng, that boy will be the most dazzling star in the music industry in the future. Xia Ying pointed at Liangye who was playing the piano and said. Yu Lingfeng followed Xia Ying's fingers and looked around Liangye, but didn't find anything outstanding. You want to sign him? Yeah, of course. Xia Ying nodded. I originally thought about signing it right away, but I thought it might make him think our company is sloppy, so I left him my address and phone number and asked him to come and find me. I'm interviewing this piece of music. Yu Lingfeng listened with eyebrows raised, and then said, did he write it himself? Yes, he writes all his music himself. That's really good. Yu Lingfeng also nodded approvingly. Ha, I'm so happy today. I came here to relax and read comics, and I actually met such a treasure boy. Xia Ying was so happy that she was floating when she walked. Yu Lingfeng smiled softly and followed Xia Ying into the box with her. Yu Lingfeng looked down, looking at the large pile of Denmei comics in front of Xia Ying, and frowned. There are so many, when do you plan to see them? There are too many, I can read comics very quickly. As Xia Ying spoke, she opened a book and started reading. Yu Lingfeng glanced at the cover hastily. Why do the two people on the cover look so familiar? The more I look at them, one has chestnut hair, the other has silver hair, and what's that name? The overbearing male god falls in love with me. Xia Ying laughed while watching, and she was laughing so hard that she couldn't hide it at all. Yu Lingfeng looked at Xia Ying and thought, is this kind of comic so good? 11 Ju also smiled like a fool when he saw it. Was he the only one who couldn't see it? Xia Ying is looking at the scenes of Jun Chenai's fan characters and Qianyin's fan characters. Qianyin's domineering attack hits Jun Chenai. Jun Chenai is still very shy. Xia Ying, I can't help but imagine what this real-life scene would be like. The more I imagine it, the more I want to laugh. Xia Ying took a photo of the scene and sent it to Jun Chenai. At this time, Jun Chenai was using his laptop to hold a meeting with a group of people in suits and ties with serious faces in the audience. Xia Ying's WeChat message jumped. Jun Chenai originally planned to click and ignore it, but accidentally after clicking in, the picture was enlarged on the projector and fell into the eyes of every shareholder. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 808. Chapter 808, Thousands of Camp Fans. There are not many people on Jun Chenai's WeChat account, and most of them are shareholders for business exchanges, so he never thought that even if he accidentally clicked on some WeChat message, he would still encounter such a rare scene. When Jun Chenai saw the photo on the computer screen, his face turned green. Then he immediately ordered the fork, and the people below fell silent, all staring at Jun Chenai. Although the photo just now was taken from a cartoon, everyone can tell that the shy boy with chestnut hair leaning against the wall in the cartoon is based on him. Jun Chenai wants to kill someone now. Who drew these messy things? Did you pay him for infringing on his image rights? No, that's not right. Did you just doodle casually without his consent? And why is it that he always gets the short end of the stick every time in this kind of fan comics? He obviously can't attack well. Wait, that's wrong, he's obviously a straight man, right? Jun Chenai was angry and annoyed, and the atmosphere was very delicate for a moment, but he still bit the bullet, pretended that nothing happened, and continued talking. It's very pitiful that the people below can't bear to laugh. Qianyin's is live broadcasting at the moment, but it is not secretive, but live broadcasting openly. Because he endorsed a very popular online game some time ago, Qianyin's live broadcast was actually to promote the sponsor's family. In addition, he is good at playing games, so he was arranged to live broadcast the game. Qianyin's talks very little when playing games. It's not that he doesn't speak, but it's his manager's order that tells him to speak as little as possible. Lest he lose his dimension as soon as he opens his mouth and say something that his manager thinks is stupid. Qianyin's was afraid that they would complain to Xia Ying, so he kept silent and played games. I have to say that his little boss is indeed too powerful a deterrent. However, Qianyin's didn't speak, and the barrage was not calm. Hubby, why are you so silent today? It's so hard to start a live broadcast and say a few words. Ha ha ha, my 2000 babies must have been ordered by their manager not to speak. It's so cute. I like you so much. What should I do if I'm a Chuyunibu? Qian Bao Bao, please say a few words, mommy loves you. Woo woo woo, my husband is so handsome. He looks so cool playing games too. At this moment, Qianyin's WeChat message popped up. When Qianyin saw that it was from Xia Ying, he clicked on it without thinking. Then, my eyes. What did I see? Is this a fan comic of Arjun Xiao and Qian Bao Bao? Boss Xia Ying sent this. Is this the official CP? Sprinkled with sugar for no reason. Which comic is this? I want to read it. OMG. Our Qian Bao Bao is actually a gangster? Haha, it means that our Mr. June has always been the subject of fan comics, and I feel sorry for our Mr. June, but I'm sure I'll take advantage of this pair of CPS. Ding, Qianjun CP has been born, please pay attention to check it. CP fans can be called thousands of troops, okay. Ha ha ha, there are talents, there are thousands of troops. Jianyin's brain was already shut down and he quickly closed the dialogue box, but the barrage was already being posted like thousands of troops and horses. This group of people is simply crazy. CP fans have become popular so quickly, and they have a name? Jianyins held his head, expressing his helplessness and irritability. Ding, this is an additional update if the monthly pass meets the standard. It's the last day of June, and your monthly tickets will expire soon. Those who still have monthly tickets in their hands should vote for them. I love you. I'll try to update as many chapters as possible today. I'll also update them at night. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 809. Chapter 809. Now the whole world knows. However, Xia Ying didn't know what good thing she had done at the moment. She was still immersed in her own comic world. Not long after, Jianyins ended the live broadcast, and then quickly occupied Weibo's hot search list. Thousands of troops, Jianyins, and Jun Chennai, Xia Ying's official CP. Various keywords emerge in endlessly. The comments from netizens are also very exciting. My Mr. Jun, someone whom I haven't heard from for so long, actually wrote a song for Jianyins. During Jianyin's live broadcast, Xia Ying suddenly posted a fan comic of the two of them. Wait, it's scary to think about it, haha. So what is the relationship between Jianyins and Mr. Jun? Mr. Jun no longer works in the entertainment industry, and then he pushes his boyfriend, quietly, into the entertainment industry. Xia Ying is hinting at something to us. No matter what, I am a fan of the official CP. Thousands of troops are mighty and domineering. Okay, I have been sticking to Mr. Jun and had no feelings for Jianyins. Since it is Mr. Jun, then I am a fan, ha ha ha. Jianyins looked at the Weibo posts of Fujoshi girls and felt like his head was going to explode. Jianyins helplessly asked for help from his agent. Didn't anyone tell Xia Ying that I was live broadcasting? Why is she sending him this kind of stuff? Now that this misunderstanding has occurred, he can't clean it up even if he jumps into the Yellow River. Well, I didn't expect that Xia Ying would suddenly. The manager was funny and angry, but if he thought about it carefully, Jianyins was not at a loss in this operation. With Jun Chennai involved, Jianyins could also take advantage of the opportunity to rise. A wave of fans. What are you laughing at? Jianyins was so angry that his own managers actually started laughing at him. No. Nothing. The agent suppressed a smile. Don't worry, the heat will pass soon. Passed. Jianyins snorted coldly. They have now established various super topics and support clubs. I really. Jianyins looked helpless, then picked up the phone and angrily started calling Xia Ying. Xia Ying, who was reading comics, received a call from Jianyins and joked with a smile, what? Did you see the picture I sent you? Ha, don't you think the painting looks particularly similar? Xia Ying said while smiling. Yes, thanks to you, boss Xia, now the whole world knows it. Why should I be so shameless? Where is the majesty of my son of light? How can I save the world in the future? Xia Ying's smile froze and she asked weakly, what do you mean the whole world knows? Go check the hot searches on Weibo yourself. Anyway, if you don't handle this matter for me, I. Jianyins thought about the threat for a long time, holding his face, but finally said, I won't eat. Xia Ying burst out laughing. What does his not eating have to do with her? Okay, I'll go take a look. Xia Ying hung up the phone and opened Weibo with a smile, thinking about how big of a deal it would be. At most, fans would be excited for a while, thinking about reading this comic. As a result, when Xia Ying came to Weibo and saw that the top 10 most searched keywords were all them, she was completely stunned. She really underestimated the imagination of netizens. With just one cartoon, they had already imagined various versions of the Mary Su Tenmei plot. Why Jun Chennai and Qianyins are actually good friends and have always loved each other deeply. After Jun Chennai's accident, Qianyins resolutely entered the entertainment industry in order to realize Jun Chennai's dream. War. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 810. Chapter 810. People sit on pots at home and come from heaven. There are other things like Qianyins and Jun Chennai having an underground love affair, and they were accidentally exposed by Xia Ying. Various short scripts and novels have begun to spread like viruses. Xia Ying felt that she had no power to make a comeback. Yu Lingfeng saw Xia Ying's face change from a happy smile to a lifeless one, and asked in confusion, "What happened?" "Yu Lingfeng, I seem to have done something bad." Xia Ying looked at Yu Lingfeng aggrievedly. "What?" Xia Ying handed the phone to Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng took it and looked at it with dark lines on her face. While Yu Lingfeng was still watching, Xia Ying's cell phone rang again, and Jun Chennai's call came in. Jun Chennai also came to find Xia Ying to question her. He was having a good meeting when he was suddenly disturbed by Xia Ying's inexplicable picture. He now felt that everyone in the company looked at him with strange expressions. Later, when he checked Weibo, he realized that he had been included in all kinds of plots. He is obviously a straight man like steel. What is going on with this group of people? Yu Lingfeng was stunned when he heard this. This probability is really comparable to Mars hitting the Earth. One is live broadcasting, the other is in a meeting, and then kill two birds with one stone. At this time, Chu Shenxiu was also posting on Weibo happily, laughing so much that his stomach hurt. Chu Shenming looked at Chu Shenxiu like a monster, wondering if something in his brain was short-circuited again. Chu Shenxiu laughed all the way from the sofa to the floor, laughing so hard that tears came out. Chu Shenxiu adhered to the principle of gloating over misfortune and basing his happiness on Jun Chennai's pain, so he retweeted the Kinjun 10,000 Horse Support Association's Weibo and added, "Blessings 99. Chu Shenxiu was originally just a happy melon-eating boy, but he didn't expect that a few minutes later, he would be included in this farce by the omnipotent netizens. Oh my god. Chu Shenxiu also came out to stamp it? I seem to remember that Chu Shenxiu and Mr. Jun also had a relationship, right? Our Xiaoxia wished Mr. Jun and Qianyins 99 with tears in his eyes. It seemed that he had completely let go. Don't be afraid of your husband, Xiu, you will find a better one. Our little Jeju will always be your strongest support. Touch Xiaoxiu husband, don't cry, Mr. Jun is gone, and a better one will appear. I feel sorry for Chu Shenxiu, what a great predecessor to country S. Then, feeling sorry for Chu Shenxiu became the first hot search, and Chu Shenxiu repaired my ex became the fourth hot search. Chu Shenxiu was confused. What the is this? What ex? When had he and Jun Chennai ever had such a messy thing? Also, he clearly meant to take pleasure in others' misfortune, but why was it interpreted as a tearful blessing by netizens? Chu Shenxiu wanted to go to the refrigerator to find a piece of tofu and hit him to death. At this moment, Jun Chennai. After a lot of brainstorming by netizens, it didn't take long before love scammer Jun Chennai became a hot search topic. Jun Chennai. What does this mean? How could he be a liar? The front row is for everyone to eat. Young Master Jun was rumored to have an affair with Xia Ying when he was 17 years old. Young Master Jun was rumored to be having an affair with Chu Shenxiu when he was 18 years old. Young Master Jun is now rumored to be having an affair with Qianyins. The rhythm is one every year. It's really love liar Jun Chennai. Young Master Jun's love history is rich and interesting. Is there anyone here who can tell me about Young Master Jun's love history? Ha ha ha, Our young master said he is handsome and willful. Master June turns out to be such a person. What should I do if I fall in love even deeper for no reason? June Chennai. A man is sitting at home, and a pot comes from heaven. There is more, I am writing. End of this chapter.